Coors Lights.
Mountains are blue. Gonna need it.
Oh, you got the bottles, huh?
Yeah, glass it up with the glass, baby. Coors Light. I'm going all the way with it to make sure that I survive these games. Lord knows the first 2 innings, I drank enough of them. But it'll be ultimately the ultimate irony to win a DeGrom start in the way they did. Diaz got to give me one more strike here. Who's ahead? Are you ahead of me, Kyle? Bam!
There it is.
Bucks.
Can I share with you guys? Can I share with you guys my tweet?
Yep, let her rip.
All right. Put in the books, never a doubt. Trust the Diaz TTP.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
What a
stupid sport baseball is. How dumb is this sport? How dumb is this game? How dumb is this team? I just can't. I can't. It's a shame. It's a shame. Kyle, was it you that said, like, how is this team so Mets and so fun all at the same time? It's not fun. This is not fun. I'm not having fun. I don't enjoy this. I hate this. My heart breaks for DeGrom. My heart is about to explode just for my goddamn self. But at the end of the day, boy, the Phillies are going to kick themselves over that one. Holy shit. Chase DeGrom in the second, and you can't make that lead hold up. Awful, awful. That team doesn't deserve to go to the postseason either.
On the ball.
But listen, 877 runs now comes through. Jimmy comes through. Diaz strikes out the side somehow. And you go ahead and put it in the books. It's a stupid sport, man.
We even got some Netflix in there.
Yeah. Yep. Honestly, I was at my lowest. I was at my lowest when DeGrom got chased. By the way, hamstring. I mean, fuck off. Yeah, he was suffering from a case of, like, I don't want my ERA to go up, right?
I was trying to figure out either. I mean, we're Mets fans. We immediately call bullshit. No one pulls the eyes over the wool over the eyes of a Gambini or a Mets fan. Basically,
yeah,
that's what I say.
I truly believe that for 1 second. I mean, Jake has always been a gamer. The reality, the funny part is, Jake probably would have gone like 7 and given up. Like, he probably would have stopped. Even when he doesn't have it, he stops the bleeding and then buckles down. But I really think that was like what if you just don't have it tonight and we don't want this ERA ballooning up at all anymore? But whatever the reason is, doesn't matter. He gets chased early. And I mean, that felt as bad as I felt all year. I called my mom screaming and yelling at her and my grandfather for making me a Mets fan. I truly thought, well, if I can jinx Jake, I can jinx Steve Cohen. I thought about quitting this podcast. I thought about resigning as a sponsor of Mets Fans Anonymous. I thought about stopping being a fan altogether. I put on the Challenger documentary, which is about death and tragedy.
That's low.
And I enjoyed my night more than I did watching the Mets game. And tuning back in, I was like, all right, like, let's not be silly. I got to watch this game. I tuned back in, and I was genuinely nervous that I was going to jinx it. That's how low we've gotten. But somehow, someway, they overcame the mush tonight. It's crazy. Crazy sport.
I was in the state I was in as a Mets fan with my head and, like, everything, all the good stuff from this week, followed by, like, that happening with DeGrom leaving the game, and you forget what it's like just, like, refreshing Twitter nonstop. I just was in the fetal position. You know when you have a stomach ache and you can't do anything about it? I was just, like, curled up in a ball and just going, oh. Like, I was just moaning to myself, and there's nothing you can do about it. I felt so helpless, and I know this is not the case. I understand. If Steve Cohen doesn't buy the Mets, it's not a hamstring. It's something else.
Yeah, you're right. He's blows out his arm somehow for a second time and is, like, out for the rest. Yeah, you're totally right. Even in the bad moments, I like to think that Steve Cohen's still having a good effect, and that bad things become good. Catastrophic things become bad. Like, that's what Steve does here for us, I think. I mean, God, it's like always too little too late, because this would have been like an awesome win to, like, get fired up about. But I do believe the hole is too deep. But it is fun beating Wheeler. It is fun beating the Phillies. It is fun playing spoiler a little bit to a team like that. And but man, it sucks for Jake. Like it feels the way Bauer and him have been pitching, your ERA hitting above 2 feels like, it's over. It's like it feels like, his ERA is 5 right now, being like 209 or whatever it is. But hey, if Bauer has a bad outing, we're right back in it. I feel like that could happen, but
that's the thing. Like even last year when he won it, like Ryu was easily the favorite the whole way through, and then we just go out there and just shove for 8 innings.
Yeah.
Next 2, if he just throws, shutout.
All I need is Bauer to have, not even like a catastrophic start, but just give up a couple, because I have faith that, like, all right, I thought Jake was going to be, the rest of the way, but now I really feel confident, like, he ain't going to do that again, unless this hamstring really is an issue. I feel like he'll buckle back down. But hey, last time I said anything about him, I jinxed him. So what do I know? Let's just address the elephant in the room, Clem. This team on the base paths, man. Holy fucking Christ on the cross. In the field and on the base paths, it's fucking lunacy. I mean, it's not even a joke. It's not even like I've never seen anything like it. And I've been watching the Mets my whole life. This has got to be the worst I've ever seen. I don't know if that's a coaching thing. I mean, it's definitely a coaching thing, but is it your manager? Is it one or the other? Is it a bench coach? Is it fucking what happens in spring training? It's been like an organizational problem for a while now. And like smart players too. Like Jeff McNeil getting caught in a rundown, and guys that you think wouldn't do it just absolutely fucking suck. Even that play at second in the first inning, where like the throw from Conforto was kind of on the line, and he was standing behind the bag and didn't get the ball, and McNeil wasn't backing him up. It's like we just fucking forget what we're doing out there every single season, and I don't know how to stop it. Steve Cohen's gonna have to hire like some special advisor, special manager to fix this shit. It's nuts.
And he will, everyone. Don't worry. It's going to be a complete – everything we said with Jeff Wilpon and how it was bad from top to bottom, and it always went back to the medical staff, even with Ramirez gone. Everything's going to be fixed. He's going to fix this all. I promise you. It's the Clem promise to you. But base running and fielding, it's one of those things that like your brain just goes on. Like hitting and pitching, that's the game, right?
Yeah.
And you're focused on it when you're pitching, when they're hitting.
Done.
The base running, when the ball is in play, it's just on like, all right, make the plays that a baseball player makes. And you don't really you just are on autopilot in your brain. And then when it just goes wrong every time, like, how the fuck is this always wrong? It has to be coaching, good fundies, as our guy Keith said, bad fundies in this case. And it makes you lose your mind. And it's so clear, like when you have a losing team, it's always the fielding or the base running, like in addition to whatever you're doing.
Baseball has a way of exposing you. Like whoever the weak link is, it'll get hit his way. You do take it for granted. You're like, it's almost like ball security in the NFL or kicking in the NFL. It's like, he's going to make this kick because it's only, 20 yards. And then you miss it. You're like, wait a second. He's not going to drop this ball because he's a professional. He's going to be able to field it and throw to first. He's going to be able to – he knows how to run the bases when the ball's hit and play. They don't know how to do the little things, and we're assuming things that, we can't assume. It's fucking insanity. And they're lucky that one run stood up and that Diaz has decided, I guess, to be good. I guess he really has – like I still don't believe in the numbers per se, but there's been enough of that now where I think that the numbers at one point were, I think, misleading, but now he's amassed enough appearances where the numbers, I think, start to be justified a little more. And thank God he was able to make that one run stand up, because it could have been and should have been more if they weren't just fucking running themselves out of the goddamn inning. And shout out to, the Phillies for making a Mets mistake, a balk in that situation.
Oh my God.
A balk that then leads to the game-winning run is what we do, not what we benefit from. Jake is talking next to me.
Are we in the Coors Light trust tree?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
When we scored that run, I wasn't even excited that we were going to win. I was just excited that the game wasn't going to go to extra innings.
Yes.
I just didn't want extra innings tonight. I'll be honest with you, fellas. And when Diaz was in, I was like, I really don't want extra innings or whatever you're about to do here. Like you said, I was looking at a stat.
As soon as that extra innings for the Mets is an L. It just is. We're never gonna come out ahead with that man on second situation. It's just not. It's just not built. We're not built for that. But yeah, I was with you, brother. I was like, oh man, I can't do this right now.
I was laying in bed and I was fading, and I'm like, do I get up and go inside to send you guys the link for this stream? Because I don't want to jinx it. But at the same time, I'm like, if I don't get up right now, I am not making it to the stream.
Diaz here in September.
I really wasn't able to finish. I felt a grab there. I'm reading the subtitles here. So, I mean, he's just saying, you know.
They in the first inning, he was like looking. They kept saying he was looking into the dugout, like trying to give the coaches a heads up.
I mean, he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy this. He's like the ultimate gamer. I've seen him gut out all sorts of starts and all sorts of, tweaks and hurt injuries and just nights he doesn't have it. He's a mental fucking warrior. But I don't know. I don't know what's worse. Like, is it better that it was a hamstring and not just? I don't know. Like, if that truly lost him the Cy Young, is it more upsetting if it was because of an injury or because like Jake just didn't have it that night? I don't know. Either way is kind of disappointing.
That's the only reason I honestly think it's the hammy. The hammies are so tricky too. And the thing is, if God forbid he does something to his hammy, you have the whole offseason to recover, but you can't just like have to bounce back from that. Just fucking shut him down. Put him in freeze him like Han Solo and carbonite. I'm down for that, even if it blinds him temporarily whenever we unthaw him from the carbonite. He's the warrior. He's not going to give up like this. He's the guy who probably wants to make the playoffs more than anyone, which is the sickest part of it. He's a sick fuck. He's still playing for the playoffs because he's a crazy motherfucker.
I mean, playing for the playoffs right now is nuts. I guess you gotta. But nothing stupid that could jeopardize anything long term because the real team, the real franchise is coming. So nothing crazy.
We basically did our pregame and we just devoted the rest of our season to Jake's Cy Young Award, and it pretty much said it tonight.
I mean,
you mushed it in particular, but all three of us played a hand in it. We'll take some of the mush off your back half.
I was yelling at my car. We could win this game. I'm like, I don't even fucking care. I just want personal glory for Jake because he fucking deserves it. That's what I care about right now. Looking at the box score here, man, double Davis did his thing. 3 for 4 tonight. 3 RBI. Nimmo, your boy Kyle, 2 for 3 with a run scored. A hit for Dom, a hit for Cano, a hit for McNeil, a hit for Conforto. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Big time Jimmy.
Big time. I mean, that's a huge fucking – it's a huge spot for a young kid. And a big spot for double Davis. When I see things like that, like remember when like last year we had that stretch where people started to get hope, and it was like Rajay Davis 1 night, 2 nights, and then Aaron out there 1 night, and Carlos Gomez a couple nights, and it was like these are guys that don't matter, and it's nice that we like won 4 games that week, but it doesn't mean anything for the big picture. This is like the total opposite. When you see that it's like Conforto, McNeil, Davis, and now Jimenez. Like those are guys you're going to be riding with for the next few years. The more confidence they can get, the better they can get, the more they can perform, and the more experience and success they can get under their belt, the better. So that is like extra encouraging. Like I don't give a fuck about Robinson Cano playing well. I don't. He's not going to be here long term. He's never going to be a real part of the future. But the more, and that's why it drives me nuts that McNeil is like compromised in a way by him. But the more the rest of these guys who are a part of the core and a part of the future going forward can get burned and figure things out. Like, let's go, because we're playing for next year and the following season at this point, in my mind. So, I don't need the Todd Frazier's and the Robinson Cano's of the world, even if they're going to play good. I don't need it right now. Like, it's on to the future. So, good on the young core for doing their thing tonight.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that too, like, I mean, now that Jake, I don't know if Jake's if the Cy Young is done or if he's even done for the year. At this point, it's getting all those guys going, and honestly, like Edwin Diaz, like we said, like someone's like his ERA, his K per 9 is 81. His stats here in September: 7 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, 1 hit, no earned runs, no 3 walks. So
how much would he need to? Like, when will you be comfortable with him again?
Not until next year. I don't
think ever. I don't think I'll ever be able to say to myself, like, we're totally good. I think I would need all of next year to be good again. To be like, all right, we had a terrible year, then we had a bounce back year. Now we need like a rubber match to figure out which it is. And if the third year is good, then he's a good pitcher. And then I'll accept it. And I'll even get to a point where I'll stop bashing him and saying he's like blast him into the sun. He's terrible. But I still, in my heart of hearts, when I see him coming in, I'm just going to have the PTSD as the Mets fan. I'm always going to remember it. The music will help. The music will get me going. The horn hit, I'll want to enjoy it, and I'll be like, all right, here we go. But I think I'll always be thinking to myself, like, well, what about that night in Washington? What about that night here? What about that night in the West Coast? What about this, that, and the other thing? So, but yeah, I mean, it's a start. It's certainly a fucking start with what's been going on for the past, 6 weeks, let's call it?
Let's call a spade too.
He threw 6 straight fastballs straight at Harper.
Yeah.
Like, when you're feeling it like that and you're like, here's my best shit, go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
That 3-1 pitch, too, was like pretty much right down the middle. And Harper fucking like unloaded. I thought that one, that was either, a swing and a miss like it was, or it's going to fucking orbit. That was, unstoppable force versus immovable object. And Diaz comes out ahead. What were you saying, Clem?
And I think many of us are still in LA from the Chernobyl of last year. Like, I don't think any of us really bounced back from that, let alone the rest of the year. The big one last year, he had a few in Philly where he just got. I mean, there was that one where Francesa was like, "He's still in the game. What are they doing right now?" Yeah. Like, he had some really bad. In Philadelphia, he's either like unhittable or they just tee off him. It's like the wildest thing. Is like, so,
we can pinpoint these bad times and we keep the memories. So now, like, I'll remember this one where he struck out. I mean, he gave up the hit, but he basically struck out the side, including blowing away Harper, 6 straight fastballs. That was a cocky performance that he like. So now we have one in the good column to remember, and he's got to start amassing those where we can, that's what we'll judge his reputation on. And so, like, keep it rolling, sugar. Let's fucking go. And I mean, but It will be a shame if that's it for Jake, or if Bauer doesn't falter and that really is his Cy Young undoing. But also at the end of the day, winning 3 is fucking impossible, and you can't get too greedy with it. But would be nice to somehow still squeeze that out if he can make it happen.
With Diaz, going back to what you said real quick about Diaz, next year if he gets hot in April and whatever, and he's pretty clean, maybe blows a save here or there, I'll start believing him, but I'm not going to really trust him until like big saves, division saves consistently until then. And as for tonight, the Jake and the whole game in particular, the Mets, like, they won, but they could have really lost tonight. I'm going to go Marissa Tomei on you. You know what I mean? Like, this could have been catastrophic. The game, honestly, that's probably another reason I didn't really care about the game, because it felt like future seasons were hanging in the balance with the news. Yeah. And it's fucking – and, again, I'm still putting like a 1% chance the hamstring thing is out there, because they're just like, all right, we got to do tests tomorrow and see what's really going on here. I feel like they're just feeding us that to, like, shut us up. You know what I mean? That's fan brain, right?
Hold your fucking breath. We'll see. Like, we're never out of the woods entirely. So somehow we always kind of come up on the short end of these games today. God bless Philadelphia for always kind of being just as big of a loser as we are. And God bless my Coors Light and my Blue Mountains. Tomorrow we'll be recording our full episode. A lot to talk about, obviously, and we'll get into it. So until then, hold your breath for good news about Jake. Hold your breath for a Trevor Bauer, slip up, and pray for the best and continue to believe.
Gotta believe. Jake.